All right, you are looking at Championship Court once again here at the Mesa Tennis Center. This is a bronze medal match between Riley Newman and Lindsay Newman. They're taking on Simone Jardim and Ben Johns. The winner of this match will go on and play for gold against Matt Wright and Lucy Kovalova, who we just saw a few minutes ago out here. And the loser of this match will get the bronze medal. I'm your host, Mark Renison, and we see that quick exchange at the net. One thing to take note of is Simone and Ben just came off the court playing a tough three-gamer against Kovalova and Wright. The Newmans have been off for a while. They were watching what was going on, so they definitely got to do a little scouting beforehand. But it is getting cold here in Mesa. And gotta wonder whether that time off, sitting down, Lindsay takes a full swing at that backhand drive. Wow. That ball just barely catches the line. Both Newmans call that ball in. (3-0-1). Johns and Jardim off to a good start here. It's going to be an around the post attempt. Wow, Newman is so aggressive, side to side to side. It's one of the reasons why pickleball is mainly about moving as much as it is about hitting the ball. See a great example of Newman putting so much pressure on his opponents because he can cover so much territory so quickly. There's another example of Riley trying to cover a lot of territory. I think they're expecting that most of these balls are going to be hit to Lindsay. And by jumping the corner like that and being aggressive, that's one way that Riley can start to get his paddle on the ball a little bit more often. But it does come with its risks. (3-0-1). Andre Paul asking if I did in fact say it's cold. It is cold. I had to put on a hoodie and everything. Might have to break out the vest. I am still wearing socks though. We're here in the desert, and in the evening this time of year, it can get a little frosty. Earlier in the week, it was down below freezing. Early in the morning and through the night. There we go. That is a patented Lindsay Newman move there to set up on the extremity of the court, really looking for that forehand that she can pounce on. Riley very good at coming over and covering the middle of the court as a response. All right, since we started this stream as a new one, be sure to hit that share button. That way your friends can catch the great action here too. This bronze medal match followed by the gold right afterward. 0-3-2 is the score. Ben Johns crossing in front of his partner, Simone Jardim. Say welcome to Abby Brooks. No slouch of a pickleball player herself. First time actually I saw Ben Johns in action was in Southwest Florida a number of years ago, and he was out there playing with Mrs. Brooks. With that side out, Lindsay Newman will take over serving. 1-3-1. All right, and that banging that you might have heard was the door to the broadcast booth. And they'll let any sort of riffraff in here, it seems. I am moderately pleased to welcome back to the booth a man who needs no introduction and the senior pro gold medalist in the mixed doubles from earlier today, Mr. Dave Weinbach.
Thanks for having me back, Mark. It was a joy to play on this center court here at the Mesa Tennis Center, and we are in for a treat here in this bronze medal match.
I take back calling you riffraff. After that gold medal performance, maybe we'll just call you Raff.
Well, I had the right partner today. Chris Anderson is a monster. Oh, there we see some great coverage there by Riley Newman, who is long and length. I can tell you, I played about 15 rec games with Riley Newman this week before the tournament started, and we had a lot of fun. And that man covers a lot of ground. And he just keeps getting better and better and better. I still think the ceiling for him has got some ways to go. People forget, Mark, how new Riley and Lindsay are to pickleball. They have not been around for too long, and I just think their potential is to be, top 3 players in the country.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I think, as any close siblings will know, is that, having grown up with someone your whole life, there is this kind of nonverbal communication, this sort of second nature that is so clear between the two. And you can see when you watch these two play how well they cover the courts, how well they read sort of, both tactically what each other are planning on doing, but also sort of psychologically and emotionally what each other needs when they're out there. And, whether that's on the timeouts that they sit 30 feet apart from one another, not speaking to each other.
It is interesting, the dynamic between the two.
Yeah.
I think they've known each other since birth.
Yeah. Well, at least since one of their births. Ben Johns, great defense.
Great 1-2 punch there by Ben. I think when you speed it up to Lindsay or Riley, you have to expect the first ball is going to come back, and you've got to be prepared for the next one.
4-5-1 here. As Newman catches the line there, wanting to stay away from Johns. He has punished them a little bit lately when they hit the ball to the middle. That does put a little additional risk, though, when you have to play so close to that sideline.
Boy, what a great match we just witnessed with Matt and Lucy taking that in 3 over Simone and Ben to earn them a rest in the VIP Players Lounge. And then they get to wait for the winner of this match. Riley and Lindsay just get so many balls back. Oh, it's over. Oh, he goes to his left. What? He's going to get this too.
Wow.
How
Wow.
entertaining is this?
All right, while Riley catches his breath for about half a second, we're going to remind you that this broadcast is being brought to you by Pro Pickleball Media and their partners Logitech. All the technology we're using here to get this great audio video quality is from the people at Logitech. Jardim wins that battle one-on-one against Lindsay Newman.
Riley a little frustrated. He said out way before Lindsay hit that ball. But as you know, Mark, when you're in the point and you're so focused and locked in on that ball, it is so difficult to get out of the way. We've been talking about this for 2 days, how it's really a skill to know when to let the ball go. And it's something you actually can practice. How far Riley comes over for that bow. He loves that two-handed backhand roll cross-court dink. Oh, great
Almost
shot
as
by
much as Ben Johns loves the backhand ATP. One of the nice things, and many players will know this, but Dave, sometimes, in the coaching I do, sometimes I realize that not everyone knows that when you do hit around the post, you don't have to hit higher than the net itself. You can hit as low as you want.
That's the huge advantage to doing it. You can hit it 6 inches over the ground with slice like Ben just did, and the ball doesn't even come up at all, and it makes the next shot almost impossible. I'm not sure that Lindsay wants to get into a cross-court dinking game with Ben Johns, who I personally think is the best cross-court dinker in the game. Riley says that's enough of that.
Riley doesn't want that pattern to go. You know what?
I think Riley agreed with that.
Yeah, I think there are a few, and I wonder about this. I mean, I haven't taken stats on this yet, but it seems to me like the women are less likely to play around the posts than some of the guys. And so right there were a few balls that I'm pretty sure that Ben hit wide enough that could have been ATPs. All right, we're going to take a quick break while these players have a hydration break powered by Jigsaw Health. We'll be back in a moment with more here in this bronze medal match. PPA in Mesa.
It's no secret, I lose so many electrolytes when I play. Eventually, I either start cramping or I run out of gas.
Electrolyte Supreme gives me enough energy and hydration.
They prevent cramps, and what's really important to me, they help me to recover quicker.
I know I can push myself a little bit more and not have to worry about cramps.
I feel better, I feel good, and it's fun to feel good.
We're feeling great, we're energized, and we're ready to have a great day, right, Lucy?
And it's fun to feel good.
That's right. Every pickleball crowd is full of pickleball players, and that's one of the things that makes this sport so unique and fantastic.
(6-5-2). We're back with Ben Johns serving to Riley Newman. Again, he and sister Lindsay will cross.
Oh, look how far Ben came over for that. That ball got so low by the time he actually made contact with the ball. I think he made the wrong decision to try to drive it.
5-6-1. Can't quite come up with the goods there, Lindsay Newman. We have a question, Dave. You were talking about the skill of learning when to let balls go out. Can you give our viewers at home like one simple drill, one simple activity they could do to actually practice developing that skill?
The drill that I do when I have small like groups in private lessons, and I know you do a lot of private lessons as well, is I'll have a bucket of balls, and I'll have my students at the kitchen line, and I'll drive balls at them. and they have to decide, A, is it going to be in or out? And if it's out, I want them to let the ball go. And if it's going to be in, I want them to hit a punch volley deep in the court at my feet. So that's one of the drills we work on to help with that decision-making process.
It's a great idea.
Lindsay with a great attack shot. While we have a quick moment, I'm going to give a quick shout-out to Casey Clancy in Rogers, Arkansas. Happy birthday, Casey.
Good old Casey. Valentine's Day birthday. It's not bad. I bet you get double the love on those days.
I don't think this is a pattern that Lindsay should be doing. If I were advising that team right now, I would suggest that she mix that up a little bit, Mark, and once in a while, keep Ben honest. But I don't think she's going to come out on the winning side of that matchup.
Ben Johns, you can start to feel a little bit, Dave, here. I mean, it's been a long day, right? These players, the matches started at 10 a.m. The players were out here before that warming up. A number of them were on the court yesterday, right? Either competing or, in the case of Ben, traveling. We're gonna stay here for a moment while they take this quick break, and we're gonna stay here for a moment for this quick break while we give a little bit of love to some of the other sponsors that were involved in making this particular tournament and this whole tour possible. Onyx Pickleball, Vulcan Pickleball Paddles, Paddle Tech, C&D Pickleball Nets. We saw Cami McGregor earlier out here on the court. She's the CEO of C&D Pickleball Nets, which is the official net of the PPA Tour. Selkirk Sport, Pickleball Central, Third Shot Sports, Pro Kenix, K-Swiss, Creamy's Ice Cream, Durafast 40, and Jigsaw Health. Without these great sponsors, supporters of pickleball, and supporters of the PPA, this amazing tournament and this amazing tour would not be possible. So show those sponsors some love, spend your money with them, or at the very least, send them an email. Let them know how much you appreciate them being part of the PPA Tour.
Let's see if Lindsay changes up this pattern a little bit. I think that Ben Johns is getting too active in this. If I were the Newmans, I would try to involve Simone a little bit more. I think he's getting a good rhythm. He's getting a lot of shots. And you don't want to do that to the number one player in the game. I think Simone hit 1 or 2 balls in that entire 30-shot rally.
10-5-2, we've got a game point here for Johns and Jardim.
That's going to go wide.
Balls a little bit out, the side out. Newmans have a chance to gain a little ground here, down 5-10-1.
Along with Mark, this is Dave bringing you this live action here at the inaugural PPA, Professional Pickleball Association event here at the beautiful Mesa Tennis Center. We are not far from the base of the Superstition Mountains. It's just beautiful here. And a perfect day for pickleball.
The ball can't quite climb its way over the net. We had another question, which maybe we'll come back to after this game's over. It has to do with finding partners and those decisions. We'll come back to that after this game. Right now, Newman and Newman. Wow. That's a kind of tweener we hadn't seen earlier today.
Oh,
Lindsay with some great defense of her own.
Lindsay doesn't know where Riley is and what he's doing, but she recovered. Oh, that
seemed like a bit of a generous call on that side.
A very generous call.
I've seen that call all day long happening, and players being such good sports. If there's any doubt in the fact that there's so many fans right beside it, I think maybe a bit of a factor, but
oh, terrific recovery.
DJ Pickles
gonna
can
get it.
hardly
He's gonna get
contain
it.
himself.
Oh, Riley came in, but Lindsay didn't. See if she can work her way in here.
And that ball goes long.
Terrific defense there by both Newmans to keep that point alive.
Sometimes it doesn't really go the way you plan, but you've got to find a way. You've got to improvise, work your way out of a hole.
Yeah, I think they've decided they're going to try to switch up this pattern a little bit.
That ball catches the top of the net, and a little bit of a run here. They're still down.
This is the bronze match. Of course, the
8-10-2.
winner will advance back into the gold match where Matt Wright and Lucy Kovalova are waiting in the wings. I thought that ball clipped the line. Did you have a good view of that, Mark?
It did, and Ben let Simone know that, yeah, it did in fact touch. So that's going to be a point for the Newmans. They're now serving at 9-10-2.
What a game.
Risky return of serve, quite deep. Lindsay Newman, great defender, but can't quite get that ball back in the court. Too tough from Ben Johns. And once again, we have a game point here. 10-9-1, Jardim to serve. Lindsay jumps the corner. That sets up the opportunity. Riley Newman so good at coming across, covering the center of the court when Lindsay's off to the side.
Lindsay Newman loves to jump that corner when she's on her forehand side, which she usually is when she plays with Riley, but even in women's doubles, she loves to jump it when she's on her forehand side over there. So if you're playing against her, you always have to be aware of that. And Simone was not there.
There it is again. There it is again. They save another game point, the Newmans do. They get the ball back. They're serving at 9-10-1 here in this best 2 out of 3.
Simone's got to be careful on that dink down the line. There's nothing wrong with going down the middle, people. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. As I like to say, issues.
That ball sits up a little bit too high. Ben Johns, one of the strongest players on the backhand side. 9-10-2. Newmans would love to get a free point here, and they do.
Got a little greedy on that return, did Johns.
10-10-1. Remember, this is you must win by 2. So the first team to get a 2-point lead here will win game number 1.
I love how Riley closes to that kitchen line after his third ball.
Can't get that ball back in play. So much spin off the paddle of Ben Johns when he hits those forehands and backhands, frankly. All right, we're going to take a quick break as well. We're going to come back to this game, the conclusion of game number 1 in just a second. 30-second timeout. 10-10-1, we're back here. Game number 1 of this best of 3 bronze medal match. The winner's going for gold, and right now at 10-10-1, this is anybody's game. The odds tilt a little bit towards Jardim and Johns with that put away. 11-10-1, game point.
Remember, this bronze match is going to be at 2 out of 3 games up to 11. Winner advances to gold. I'm just shocked on how many balls Ben Johns is getting. I got to tell you, Mark, I'm really, really surprised at that strategy, and it looks to me like it's intentional.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, to be fair, you know, this game did go 12-10, right? It could have gone either way. So,
yeah.
You know, one of the calculations that the players have to make, that Newmans have to make is, you know, they went down 12-10. They lost that game 12-10. Was that because the strategy was wrong or the execution was wrong? We'll see what they do coming back.
Cool stuff.
You know, Dave, one of the questions that we had from someone,
And I'm not talking about just
let me see if I can find it here. Heather Olson-Myers asks, hey, Mark and Dave, would you guys mind talking about how pros select their partners for mixed doubles? Seems like there are a lot of teams that constantly change and some that stay consistent. Do sponsorships come into play? You want to start with that one, Dave?
Yeah, you know, a lot of us, we've booked our schedules a year in advance. And the way that partnerships happen, it's as simple as one player asking another player, would you like to play this tournament? Or a lot of times I'll say to somebody, do you want to play a series of tournaments? So a lot of the players like to know who they're playing with far in advance and like to lock in their schedules so they can organize their travel. And maybe they're going to do clinics in the area as well. So we want to know where we're going. And it's as simple as one player asking another player. And it's not always, you know, the man asking the woman. You know, it's probably 50-50. And a lot of times, Mark, we talk at tournaments. And we're talking about, you know, maybe partnering up at this tournament for the following year. So a lot of times it's done in person. A lot of times it's done via texting or messaging. And it's all about communication, and the sponsorships really don't come into play on it. The sponsors don't tell the players who they can and cannot play with.
Right. I would add, I'd agree with everything you said there, Dave, and I would add also that sometimes it kind of happens by accident, right? So it could be the case that, you know, for example, the other day I was, you know, Sean Rickard, I ran into him somewhere else in Arizona. He said, hey, Irina and Joey and I are playing together tomorrow. You know, do you want to come out and join with us? And all these pros there are very often having these kind of rec games, these pickup games. And what will sometimes happen is all of a sudden you sort of catch lightning in a bottle. And, hey, two players that just sort of happen to walk on the court together find that somehow they're a good fit. And so that can sometimes lead to an unexpected partnership, whether it's mixed doubles or same gender doubles.
I tell players that sometimes struggle with getting partners is you can't be shy. You can't be bashful. If you want to play with somebody, you know,
and you could be rejected.
Step up and ask. The worst thing that can happen is the person can say, well, I'm already partnered for that tournament, or I've already talked to some other people. You can't be bashful. Don't be shy about it.
None of these four players are shy out here right now, going for the right to play in the gold medal match afterwards against Lucy Kovalova.
Second server.
And there again is that patented Lindsay Newman forehand volley with 1 foot in the green and 1 foot in the blue.
But Simone hit the wrong shot there. Instead of dicking it back cross court, which would buy her time to get back in position, she drove it hard and high to Lindsay's forehand.
I mean, I think one of the other things that happens here, and Dave, I think you know, a lot of the players at home can appreciate this as well, is when you see one player who's poaching as much as Riley Newman is poaching, the message that that's sending to Johns and Jardim is that, oh, Riley wants the ball. So what we're going to do is we're not going to give him what he wants. We're going to give it to Lindsay instead. And so sometimes, I hear what you're saying. You're right that with Lindsay parked where she was off the side of the court, had Simone gone cross-court back to Riley, you know, it would be relatively safe and out of trouble. But that psychology of not giving the opponents what they obviously want or appear to obviously want sometimes plays into it, which can force you to make the wrong choice.
0-0-1.
0-0-1 here in Game 2, the bronze medal match. The winner earns a berth in the gold medal match where Lucy and Matt are waiting in the wings. And still have a very nice crowd here. I think we've lost about 10 degrees here in the last 20 minutes. But we have a lot of dedicated fans here. Folks that are watching this on our live stream, please
the tweener.
Hit that share button. Oh, you actually got that.
Almost.
Hit that like button, hit that share button so many more people can enjoy all this wonderful content.
Yeah, it's great. We're at 516, which is a great number. We were earlier, we were at
a little miscommunication there with the Newmans. Lindsay was leaning left, thinking Ben was going to rip it at her backhand. And Riley stayed home, and nobody covered the middle. There was no center fielder.
3-0-1 is the score.
Second server.
That time she had been leaning hard right and went behind him. Great shot.
3-0-2. So Mary Keene says, can't hear the score. Mary, you don't need to hear the score. It's in the bottom left-hand side of your screen. You should be able to see. Uh-oh.
It looks like he lost it in the lights. And he whiffed it, which we saw earlier today by Althoff Merchant at match point.
Oh, did we?
Not to
Really?
embarrass him, but since he's a very good friend, I will embarrass him. On match point.
Match point up or down?
Up. He had a short lob to his forehand. He's lefty. And he whiffed the overhead, and the ball hit him in the shorts. And that's where we say, issues.
0-4-1.
0-4-1.
Point.
That ball goes through the middle of the court and about 5 feet long. Well left by the Newmans.
1-4-1.
They put their first point on the board here in game number 2 after losing game number 1. If you're just joining us, we've got Riley Newman and Lindsay Newman taking on Simone Jardim and Ben Johns. The winner of this will go into the gold medal match right after this against Lucy Kovalova and Matt Wright.
I think if Riley was wearing his Fitbit, he would notice that he's got about 13,000 steps in 1.5 games of pickleball. And that's hard to do if you tried. I couldn't get that climbing Camelback Mountain and back.
Yeah, Riley Newman, definitely a mover out there.
4-1-1.
4-1-1 is the score. Jardim, a deep serve to the backhand, creates an opportunity for Johns. So I mean, to me, a lot of people will notice that great volley hit at the end. But I would argue it was the serve that set that up.
1-1. 1 minute, players.
It was the serve that led to the short return that opened up the down-the-line drive because the players were stacking, which created the opportunity to then get that ball that's elevated a little bit they can put away. So isn't it amazing to me, Dave, I think, how when you watch at the highest levels, how we're starting to see the serve play so much more of a factor, not necessarily always with speed, but as a deliberate shot to not win the point, but tilt the odds in the favor of the serving team.
In this timeout, a little terse communication amongst the sister and brother duo. But that's normal for all of us siblings. I can tell you, if I was playing with my brother, there would be a lot of terse conversations like that as well.
Receiving team, you have 1 timeout left. Serving team, you have 2 timeouts left. Time's in.
I think I
Scores
heard
5-1-1.
Lindsay say that you're giving up on the play, and I certainly don't think that's accurate. Riley never gives up on anything, and I think he lost his focus there. You don't see him miss many returns like that.
6-1-1, Simone Jardim trying to
Remember,
step on the gas here.
Ben and Simone took game 1 in a thrilling battle. If they take game 2, they will capture this match and head on into the gold medal match, which is looking more likely by the minute.
In case you were wondering, Jardim and Johns are the number 1 seeds in this tournament. The Newmans are the 3 seeds. Wright and Kovalova, number 2. I think, Dave, do you think we should just call that a Newman or a Lindsay? Like, it's such a patented move, right? We've got the Ernie.
What
She's
amazes me is how many people give her that down-the-line shot to where she can do that. Riley did not see that ball clearly.
I think it clipped off the
Did
top
it
of
clip
the
off
net.
the net?
Yeah. You can see Ben with a little wry smile over there, knowing that when things are going well, things are going well. 8-1-2. Ben now feeling like he can unleash that serve a little bit, up 8-1. Lindsay with the opportunity to put it away, hits a bit long. All right, we're going to go a quick timeout as well, pay a few bills. We're going to come back for the end of game number 2, perhaps, in just a moment. Mark Renneson, Dave Weinbach, in Mesa.
People have this conception that pickleball, oh, that's an old person sport, but I don't think they realize how physically demanding it is with those quick bursts and long, grueling points. The first US Open, I found myself cramping in 2 different events. When you start cramping, it's too late. And when I first started playing, I wasn't ready for that. The biggest difference I feel on the court with Jigsaw products is I'm not cramping at all. It gives you that mental confidence that your body's going to hold up. Jigsaw products will provide a lot of value to you both on and off the court.
Starts to get cold, people start thinking about going home. Our live stream is up to 550. You still have a chance to share it.
It's no secret, I lose so many electrolytes when I play. Eventually, I either start cramping or I run out of gas.
Electrolyte Supreme gives me enough energy and hydration.
They prevent cramps, and what's really important to me, they help me to recover quicker.
I know I can push myself a little bit more.
And we're back. Ben Johns serving. 9-1-2. Jardim and Johns a stranglehold on this match right now. Newman trying to give one last gasp. They get the side out. Good timeout. Here we go. 1-9-1.
1-9-1.
See, now that's a situation, Mark, where
He was so far back.
Riley
He
was
so far
6
back.
feet behind the baseline. He got that up high to Lindsay's forehand as she was just sitting on it, and all she had to do was pronate that wrist down.
And that's the referee timeout now. Sorry about that. Score is 9-2.
Okay, quick referee timeout. We're going to be back in a second with more here from game number 2.
1 minute, players.
All right, we're back on a beautiful but a little bit chilly night here at the Mesa Tennis Center. Reminder, there's lots of great action coming up after this match. We're going to see the gold medal final in the pro mixed doubles. 9-2. They're going to recall that score.
I called it incorrectly. Referee error. Call it again. Score is 2-9-2.
2-9-1. Yeah, don't worry, Donna. The scoreboard will come back. I'll let you know. It's 2-9-1. And the scoreboard's now back. There you go. Uh-oh. No. 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 No.
He's going to get it. What incredible defense. I mean, Ben hit those 2 balls as hard as he possibly could.
Wow.
Incredible defense. But there's another example of Simone hitting it down the line to Lindsay. I think she has to be really cautious of that when Lindsay's on the left side of the court.
3-9-2.
Great
that
hands
side
by
out.
Simone there. Terrific recovery. They were totally out of position. And Simone on maximum stretch on that 2-handed backhand.
9-3-1.
Oh, that ball didn't bounce up. It was a great return by Lindsay. Ben, puts a lot of topspin on that serve. And sometimes, Mark, you get a strange bounce depending on what the ball lands on, a hole or what part of the ball. And Lindsay recovered very well there.
Good eye from Newman there. Neil was asking why there's a referee timeout. In the PPA events, once 11 points have been reached in any particular game, there's going to be a quick referee timeout. It's a way for us to give a little love to the sponsors who help make this event and this tour possible. So, good thing we've got so many great commercials for you to enjoy. But it is something, Dave, I think with the referee timeout at 11, the TV timeout, interesting to see as the tour progresses how players start to incorporate that, knowing that timeout's coming, into their strategy around when they take timeouts. Or
I think you're going to see teams save timeouts knowing that that's coming.
Yeah, kind of like the 2-minute warning in American football.
Or like in NCAA basketball, we have every 4 minutes there's a TV timeout.
There you go.
That ball clipped the line. And coaches aren't going to burn a timeout with 4 minutes and 5 seconds left in the game when they know, like at the 4-minute mark in a college basketball game, there's a long TV timeout coming.
I think, look, this is a new feature, and this is the first stop in the PPA tour. So I think right now a lot of the players are still getting accustomed to it. They still look caught off guard, but I think by the time we get to the next event, I think they'll be quite attentive. Meanwhile, right now, Johns and Jardim need to be attentive to keep their lead here. 9-4-1. That is a tough angle, and here comes the overhead. Ooh, Simone hit that ball. Would have gone out, I think, a little wide.
It definitely would have been out. But
Better safe than sorry.
Riley was so out of position that Simone knew she had a winner there.
All right, we've got a match point here to go to the gold. Ben clips the top of the net. He's going to try that over again.
10-4-1.
Match point.
10-4-1.
Ball goes just a little bit wide. Simone Jardim.
Second server. 10-4-2.
Match point.
No, that's way out.
That ball goes just long.
That's a 10-4-2 shot. I don't think if it was 4-8, he would have hit that shot. That's an area of Riley's game that he's really, really improved on. This is forehand cross-court dink.
Second server.
Riley Newman knows if he is going to try that offensive lob, he's got to get that ball further to the left, away from Ben Johns. He's too quick, too tall, and he got too much of an overhead. But if he can get his paddle on, especially on his forehand side, that's going to be trouble.
He's going to get this.
Trouble. Ooh,
I thought that ball was long.
it's tough to see. And with that side out, we've got another match point here for the right to go for the gold. Jardim hits the net. This is Jared Ullman saying, how do you not love the Newmans? So scrappy. Look at how many match points they've saved. They're going to have to save another one here if they want to keep playing.
And there it is.
And there it is. Jardim and Johns take down Riley and Lindsay Newman. 2 straight games. They're going to go to play for gold against Lucy Kovalova and Matt Wright. And that's coming up right after this.
Give it up for Ben and Simone.
Congratulations to the Newmans. They get 3rd place, $1,200, bronze medals.
The Newmans.
So you're going to want to stay close. Let your friends know this match is coming up. It's not going to be very long. More here coming up from Pro Pickleball Association Grand Slam Qualifier in Mesa, Arizona.
Make this court bigger.
So between Third Shot Sports, the Pickleball Lab, and Pickleball Coaching International, we got you covered.